Welcome to the CEO Shift with your host, Shondell Spader, owner and CEO of Spader Group. In this series, you'll hear fast, focused conversations with business leaders and experts who've made the real shifts needed to scale past the plateau. Each episode delivers CEO level insight in 15 minutes or less, because real growth doesn't need more noise, just better decisions.
Hello and welcome to the CEO Shift. I am extremely excited to have Karley Cunningham with us today from the Big Bold brand. Karley is the Surefire growth strategist and helps expert-led firms and agencies accelerate growth by up to 200%. She's the creator of the Surefire Effect, a proven system that transforms trial and error growth into sustainable momentum. Karley, thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm excited to be here with you, Shondell.
Thank you. I love that we get to dive into your zone of genius and share about the Surefire Effect and all the fun things that you have coming up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick it off. And what is the area of focus, your zone of genius, right? The area of focus that we want to talk about for our listeners today.
I want to talk about the missing system in their business. And it's not a fault of their own. It's because through the process of my work over the last 10 years, I've discovered that this process doesn't actually exist. And it is the strategy and system that goes with that strategy of alignment. How do you align everyone and everything in your business? And the visual, to put it in the audience's head, and when I say align everyone and everything, if you can imagine, the poster that you see on people's walls or at the gym, and everybody's sitting in that rowboat, that skull, that the rowing team is all ready to go. They've done the work. They're sitting in the right spot. They're listening to the cadence of the coxswain, and they're all making the right moves, knowing what race they're racing. What distance are we racing today? Where is the finish line? What are the wind conditions? How are we working as a team? What are our goals? And they are just in sync, rowing together. And everybody talks about, well, you need to align your team. You need to align these systems in the business, but nobody has developed, to my knowledge, a system of alignment.
So it's funny that you like talk about the rowboat, because it seems as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, sometimes that just seems super unattainable, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they talk about ducks in a row. They talk about, like my ducks are in a row. No, my gosh, they're not even in the right pond, right? Or in the same pond.
No, I'm herding
Sometimes.
cats.
Right. Right. Like there's all these analogies of, how whether it's even our teams or ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find and seek that alignment. So I think the overall goal for many of us is to achieve that. And I can't disprove you to say like nobody else is, has anybody else created this? Because I sure haven't stumbled upon it either. So I'm really curious. Like I want to dive into, more about what that looks like from your perspective.
Well, what I want to start with is the one of the core and key problems, and all this has just recently started to come together for me. So I don't want everybody to think that I had all things in alignment either. I had some ideas. I've worked in branding, communications, business development. I've worked at that intersection for many, many years, and so I've been helping businesses get aligned. But I was doing it under what I believed was to be branding and positioning. But in order to build a great brand, in order to define your position and to figure out where you're going to put your flag in the sand, you really have to dive into what are the fundamental beliefs and truths of, and it can be a visionary founder, it could be founding partners, but what do we believe and what are our truths? And then in order to capture the uniqueness of a business, which is the acceleration, which is prevents the race to the bottom, which helps people stand in their own sense of pride when they, for so long I've been hearing business owners go, I know we're different, but we just don't know how to explain why. So the second piece of it is capturing the brilliance of your business. And if you're a small business, it might be the brilliance that's in your head as the CEO. And as you've grown, it's typically the brilliance of the team around you, how you do things, your specific IP, the things that have maybe rubbed you the wrong way about your industry that you've set out to change and do differently. And so alignment is really about getting all of that out of your head and or your team's head and getting it down on paper so everybody knows where you're going, what you stand for, what the expectations of the behaviors are, how are you expected to behave, aka your values. Getting those truths down so that the team can uh, well, one, determine, do I buy into this? Is this company the right fit for me? Like, do I want to
Right.
see this vision forward? That's another piece of the truth. What is our 3 to 5 year vision? Where are we headed? And then they can choose to buy in, and the managers can start to align everyone, or the CEO, if you're a small business, align everybody around that. And it's not just about those being words on a page, which is typically why folks go, oh, that's just branding and marketing stuff. No, I see it as a
Right.
really powerful set of tools. Hire and fire by your values. Ensure that everyone from the CEO to the back office finance person is delivering on your brand promise.
Right. So, okay. So you referenced a little bit ago, like somebody can decide, you know, whether or not this is a good fit for them to be a part of, right? Them to
Mm-hmm.
join the team. So
Yeah.
I guess I haven't really considered, like, let's put this information out there for somebody in a prospective higher position, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
at that stage. Would you be putting it out even at, like, at the job description level, at the, like, where would somebody get their first look or view into this? sta- I almost want to call it a standard operating procedure. It's not really what it is, right? Like, but this way of the culture, the way of,
Yeah.
like the Spader Group way, if you will, or that
Yes.
kind of thing. Like, what's too early, or maybe what's not early enough, or kind
Yeah,
of
I
when.
encourage our clients to put it in, start to embed it in the first few touch points. And
Okay.
the embedding can even simply be your own language. As I build out
Right.
these tools with companies, some prefer to be formal and a little bit more done up, and others prefer to be more casual, like they're having a conversation. And so, embedding one of the other beliefs and truths is, who are we? What's our character? How do we want to make people feel? What do we want them to say about this us because we've made them feel that way? So if you can get that right in the first few touch points, that's when someone who is aligned will be drawn in. So that's that pull, that magnetic pull. Or if it's not, they're not the right fit and they pick up on, oh, you're too casual, or you're too uptight for me, that'll repel
Yeah.
them. And so that saves right there, that saves a lot of time. Let people
Well,
opt
right.
out.
Yeah. Well, and when you build that importance of alignment really truly right from the beginning of the relationship, it doesn't come as a surprise later as things change or
Exactly.
grow or evolve. Like, oh, okay, yeah, they can usually see those steps, then I would assume,
Hmm.
right? As far as okay, we're going to change and this is real. Like, this is a new practice or a new way of thinking or a new change in this organization, my role, everybody's role, from an employee, team member to even the client side. Like, it just shouldn't
100%.
be a surprise
Strategic part
anymore.
vendors, are they values
Yep.
aligned? Are they excited about what we're doing in the world? Are they here to support us and help us, and vice versa?
Right. Is this like the key to overcoming that change is hard? Like,
Well, I'm not gonna hide the fact that there is change management involved in this.
right.
But what I've found with our clients, as they, so we codify as the first step. We get it all out of their heads and onto paper,
Hmm.
and then which is, we teach folks, as I said, it's not just words on a page. These are a set of tools, but I also want them to engage the broader team. When we bring them into that training, I want them to engage and go, well, how else can you use these tools? And they come up with brilliant ideas, because
Right.
I may not be working specifically in their industry, and they might go, well, we really notice that there's a gap here and we can change it by implementing our brand promise, or our applying more of our values, or really getting clear on and our value proposition to our strategic partners, because
Right.
not enough people know how we're different. And just, that becomes the align. And the align happens when people understand how they start to use it. And then we systemize it, which is, I also call it integration and activation. You
Yeah.
take those, and then it's the SOPs, right? So that's where we start to embed in and test our processes in every department, saying, if we're doing it this way, is it aligned with our values? Is it allow deliver in the way we want to, and to hold up the character that we want to be known for, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. And this is it takes a lot of that like inconsistency and makes it so much you don't even have to think about am I being consistent? Like it's baked in. It's literally
Mm-hmm.
baked in and it's consistent from again from that early on touch point. Uh, This is really cool. I love that you are running down this path, and I am excited to have a seat in the audience to be able to watch where this
Thank
goes and,
you.
like how you build this out. Um,
Yeah.
what
I
is,
do want to jump
go
back
ahead.
in for a second, because I realized, because I can, in wanting people to understand and being
Yeah.
transparent about what it is, I forgot to explain how it makes it easier. So once we
Oh,
do
well,
those 3 steps, right? They're like,
yes,
right, Karley, but
get
how
there,
does
get
it
there.
get there? Like, tell me the payoff. So how it makes it easier is our most recent client brought on 3 new leaders since we first developed their system, and we've now evolved it with that team, and they have their fingerprints on it, and so they feel like they own it. So that makes it
Okay.
easier on the CEO, because they're not carrying it all in their head. They've offloaded all that weight off their shoulders, and now the team comes to them, and they'll come with the Surefire guide, which we give them as that final tangible output and tool, and they'll say, so remember that new client talking about? And they'll point to something in the book and say, I don't think they're the right fit for us. And the CEO
Mm,
goes, okay, tell me why. So instead of the employee going, well, they just don't feel right, they can say, well,
yeah.
something didn't feel right. And I went to our Surefire guide and I looked at our values, and I'm really concerned that they don't demonstrate these 2 values. And through this sales process, they've already not allowed us to deliver on our brand promise. So
Mm,
know that if they can't do that, that's going to affect their reputation. And ultimately, is there anything more valuable than your business reputation?
no, right. Well, and this, I feel like it sounds like it eliminates kind of those orange flags, right? Like your flags are either green
Hmm.
or they're red. And it becomes
Yeah.
much more cut and dry. And it really does make it a business decision versus an emotional response
Yep.
to an interaction, right? Like,
Hmm.
and that I think that helps everybody feel better about making those decisions and turning away business, right? Kind of like niching down.
Hmm.
Like, well, if I niche down into this space, what about the guy who lives right here, right up against that wall that isn't necessarily a good fit, but they're close? Like it's a struggle for many. So this helps
It
eliminate some of
is.
that.
And it also gives them the view to see and consider, well, can we move them into the right fit? How
Right, right.
far out are they from that wall, or do they have a hard no for a couple of things that just won't get them over the wall? So
Yeah.
we both know, and talking about the dollars and cents of it, because this stuff can seem fluffy. Let's be real. I mean, I've had
Yeah.
CEOs sit across the table from me and goes, "Is this fluffy? You know what? Really, does this fluffy really work?" Right? And you know well that when you see it in your clients' books, because you have a
Right.
numbers-based story, if they have right fit clients, they're making more profit. Their people are
Right.
spending less time, their people are happier, which means they're more productive. But if you bring in that
They
one wrong
retain their
fit
team.
client, yes, right? And so
Yeah.
protecting what makes you brilliant is also about protecting your people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, okay, so on that note, then what would be one of the biggest shifts that you would find as like a game changer, a shift, a strategy for CEOs to really, when they're thinking about this or many things in their business, but when they're thinking about things, like what's one of those shifts that if you knew it 10 years earlier or anything like that, that you would share from what you've seen?
I think it's taking the weight off your shoulders, and eliminating
Mm,
that head and shoulders effect. I hear so many folks at different stages in their business. I just distinctly remember a conversation where I was sitting at a table of 4 partners of a financial firm, and then the 2 senior partners. So 6 partners, but the 2 founding partners, one was the visionary, one was the integrator. And they had been working
okay,
together for so long. They just had that understanding where they didn't really need to finish their sentences, or the integrator got that the what the visionary was saying and would be one step ahead of them and just integrating as they go. But
right.
everybody else was trying to decode it through actions and words. And I distinctly remember the visionary being in a strategy session. We were there to talk about their marketing. He was getting really frustrated, and I felt for him in that moment. But he stood up and he's like, I don't understand. I talk about this all the time. You should all know this. And he just, went on from there in his release of frustration because he was carrying it all in his head, and he was in his, his inside voice going, why don't they get it? What's wrong with these people? I mean, nothing's wrong with
Right.
these people. Visionaries, and a lot of visionaries that I've spoken to, see in pictures. So it is so clear for them, but not everybody thinks in pictures. And he hadn't taken the time to get those core truths out of his head and then come together as a team who was leading this firm forward. So we had senior, intermediate,
Right.
and junior partners. So we brought them all together to figure out, if this is where we want to go, what does that look like? How do we do that? What in the past of how we've done it and why we do it isn't serving us anymore? And we updated it so the whole team had their fingerprints on it and could take ownership of it. And the coolest output of that was just 2 weeks into a 5-month project, because it takes time. I iterate the process
Right.
so we're not, driving down the highway going too fast, making the wrong turns, for an
Right.
analogy of, doing the 2-day discovery and hammering it out. No, we iterate it and we work alongside our clients. And within, before the third discovery session, so 4 to 6 weeks in, the two partners on the team who hadn't been able to close a deal and were really uncomfortable with having sales conversations because they didn't have what was in the visionary's head, now that they had it in their hands, they closed 2 deals, and they didn't even
That's
need to bring the
awesome.
senior partners in. That was a
That's super
huge
cool.
win for them. Just on a,
Right.
one on a dollars and cents, but on an ownership and capabilities level, they
Right.
were so excited.
That's awesome. I love when it clicks, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then for you too to have like that proof, and those who made the decision to hire you, like that is instant proof of why do we need others to support us in our business, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of our favorite things here at Spader Group when we're working with clients, right? They come in and it's like that everything's so chaotic. I don't know my numbers. I don't understand if I can make this investment. I don't know if I'm profitable, or, I don't feel like I'm profitable enough,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know where my gaps are. I can't see these things. And
Yeah.
like being able to peel those layers back and really see it unfold and bring chaos to a calm state, and something that is not
Mm-hmm.
only just calm but functional,
Yes.
like game changer. So much fun.
Yeah.
That's why I get out of bed in the morning.
I'm with you. I am with you. When I can
Right.
help people take that chaos out of their head and empower their team, and watching that
Yes.
happen. And I follow up with my clients every 4 to 6 months for up to 2 years, and just seeing what they do with this, there's no better gift.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Karley, how do people get in touch with you if they want to learn know more about you, Big Bold Brand, the strategies, all the things that you have going on?
I hang out on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Well, I used to say I only hang out on LinkedIn. Um, and my first name is spelled Karley, and then Cunningham. But I recently launched a Substack, and what I'm doing with that is I am writing my first ever business book based on the Surefire effect, the Surefire method, and I'm doing it in public. So on the Substack, I'll be
That's so
sharing
awesome.
content that won't make the book. I'll be sharing tools. I'll be asking for feedback. But what I really want to do is I want to bring people in the journey and give them actionable things that they can put into their business right away. And so that's karleycunningham.substack.com if they want to come subscribe and get some of the free goods.
Awesome. Do we have a potential release date yet, or is that too early of a question?
I feel like this is the adventure race that I recently,
Okay.
well, it was actually a bike packing trip that I
Yeah.
recently did, and I didn't check the distance, and I thought we were doing, 50K a day, and it was turned out to be 80.
Oh, oops.
So I feel like the book is a bit like that. My goal is to have the complete manuscript done by November 1, and then
Okay.
from there it's, a few, I say a few things. Like, this is the first time I've done it. So my naive
Right.
self is like, "Hey, I just need to like put it in a book template and put it up on the self. I'm gonna as of right now, I'm gonna self-publish. So
Okay.
before the end of the year.
Awesome. I love it. Well, we're excited. I'm excited to
Thank you.
definitely check it out when it's available.
And you've just
Thank
made
you
me commit to a
so.
date.
Oh, sorry, not sorry.
Oh,
All right. Before the end of the year, you heard it here first, folks. Awesome. Well, Karley, again, thank you so much for being here with us. I am so excited for people to get to hear about all the things you have going on and all that you've shared. This has been very insightful today.
thanks for having me.
All right. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to the CEO Shift. Ready to take your next step as a strategic CEO? Download our free 4-step CEO decision guide, the exact framework business leaders use to stop spinning their wheels and start scaling with clarity. Grab your copy at spadergroup.com/CEO-guide and start making decisions like a CEO today.